Anthony, we've a new setup in the IRFU and in Irish Rugby in terms of women's and sevens rugby. Can you talk us through a little bit about what that new structure means?
Sure. I've just sort of taken on a position with the union now as Director of Sevens and Women's Rugby, so that revolves around the men's and women's sevens games. So ideally we're trying to get two national teams that are going to be competitive on the world stage, get them back into the World Series and hopefully at some stage recognition in the Olympics as well.
And in terms of the women's game, there's a crossover between the sevens and the 15s, isn't that right?
There is, yeah. We've got to integrate both programs, so girls will be in a position where they can play sevens for their country, but they can also play 15s for their country. And ideally we're looking for the best players to represent their country in either 15s or sevens.
Now obviously at 15 aside, there's a legacy there from when we won the Grand Slam and performances in the recent Rugby World Cup, but it's a new era now, new players coming in and a new coach.
Yeah, it is. It's great to have Tom Tierney on board as the head coach of the Women's 15s program. And following the World Cup last year, there were a number of retirements from the girls. So we've had to, I suppose, introduce a number of new players into the squad for this year's Six Nations. Some of those are girls that have been part of the Sevens program, so they're used to the training loads and everything else. And others are girls that have just stepped up through their club competition and are now ready to represent their country at a high level.
And the squad was announced yesterday, and that's 12 uncapped players in that, and as you said, some of those are sevens, but also there's still an experienced spine there with people like Niamh Briggs, Jenny Murphy and so on.
Yeah, there is, but it gives us a great opportunity for some of these younger girls to step up. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for them, and it's a rebuilding phase too for us to develop a team now between now and the next World Cup.
You're also just back from America with the Sevens squad, and there was like an integrated training camp over there. How did that work?
It was fantastic. We were over there for 10 days at Chula Vista, which is the Americans' Olympic training village. So we played the US in a couple of games over a couple of days, and also played Canada. And Canada being probably one of the top nations in the world in women's sevens, it was a good experience for us to play against them, and a great learning curve for our girls.
The experience gained there is going to be useful for the girls at sevens level, but also in terms of training alongside those other athletes coming back into the sevens or the 15s squads.
Yeah, it is. Like any tournament or camp in that sort of environment is good experience for them. And you sit down and you're playing against some of the best players in the world. Some of our players who played in the World Cup in the 15s last year would have played against some of the Canadian girls as well. So. But just to train against them and to play against them was a valuable experience.
First up in the Six Nations, we've got Italy. Now, obviously, happy memories of 2013 there. Although the weather wasn't great, you didn't have to stand in the cold. But what sort of a challenge is that going to bring to the new squad?
Well, still a lot of work to be done between now and then. So with the new coach and with some new players, for us, it's around just sort of putting some systems in place between now and then for the girls to go out there and perform on the day. So there'll be a lot of improvement required from where the girls are at now, but the Six Nations for us will be around building from game to game.